Hi you guys, I hope you're having a good day so far. It is Tuesday at about 3:30 right now. I'm currently on my third cup of coffee because I don't know if I didn't sleep well last night or what happened, but I am tired today. This is my favorite mug ever. You can see that it's really hot. It's still steaming. It's Team Oxford Comma. In case you're curious how much of a dork I am, this is my favorite mug. Today, I am doing a natural drugstore look. I wanted to do something very soft, very simple, very pretty. That's all drugstore products. I'm going to be trying 2 new drugstore products today. The first one, well, both of them are actually from Wet n Wild. This is the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. It's a tinted skin veil. It has hyaluronic acid and squalane in it. I love squalane. I actually use that as the last step in my skincare a ton. It's oil-free and it's sheer to medium, which is like my favorite. I have this in the shade Light, so it looks like it will match me pretty well. And then the other new product that I haven't reviewed yet, we're also using the e.l.f. What was this called? The No Bud Shadow Stick that I showed in my last video. And we are using this. You guys, when I saw this, I had to buy it because anyone with any sort of decent taste in music will know the song, I Like It When You Call Me Big Poppa. So, I had to have this mascara just because I make Big Poppa jokes all the time. At very inappropriate times, oddly enough. So, I wanted to try this. Plus, if you look at that brush, it looks like they're trying to make it a dupe for the Too Faced mascara. And to be honest, I like the name of this one and the price point better than the Too Faced mascara. So let's hope that this has a really good formula to it, because this is just freaking hilarious. And the crown, you can't get better than that. So let me just tuck my hair back. I'm not even bothering with a headband today. More coffee, all the coffee in the world today. Okay, so I do not have a ton of drugstore products for cheeks, for eyebrows, things like that. So we're going to work with the only drugstore products I have for those things, because I tend to buy mostly drugstore foundation, drugstore mascara, lip products. I have a ton. Almost all my lip products are drugstore. But for cheek and contour and eyebrow, I tend to go very heavily high end on those, just because I don't go through them very often at all. But anyway, we're starting out today with my very favorite drugstore primer of all time. This is the e.l.f. Poreless Primer Putty. I love this stuff. It is so good. They have some cheek putties out that I've been dying to try, but I cannot seem to find them for some reason. My Target doesn't carry them, and I haven't checked to see whether, I don't even know whether Ulta still carries e.l.f. products or not. But I'm just doing a little bit heavier of a priming than I normally do because it's 3 o'clock. I did my skincare at 10 o'clock this morning, so most of it's gone. I probably should have topped up my skincare a bit, but I don't have that much time right now. So next we're going in with this, and I am using a beauty sponge, a Real Techniques Miracle Sponge to be precise. This foundation is really pretty. I love the color of the bottle. And I will say that their graphic design is getting so much better on the drugstore products. It makes me very happy. Safety seal off. I'm just going to pop some of that on the back of my hand. Really easy to squeeze too, but almost too easy. I just got a ton of this. So yeah, be careful. Looks pretty close. Ooh, okay, yeah, you only need a tiny little bit of this. It feels very light. It spreads really easy. The light shade looks fairly neutral so far. This is actually a good test because my nose and cheeks are kind of red right now, so we'll see if this has any color correcting. And actually, I think I'm wrong. The light's looking a little bit pink on my skin tone, but not too bad. And I am putting this on fairly heavy just to see how it sits. One thing that is unusual for me, because I had cleaned out so much makeup recently, I do not have a drugstore concealer, which is crazy. I will say that my favorite drugstore concealer of all time is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. I like it better than the e.l.f. and better than the ColourPop one. So I am just going in underneath my eyes with this, and I'm going onto my eyelids as well, because I do not have an under eye concealer, and as you can see, I do have a big problem with dark circles. This looks like it actually did really well in covering it up. Okay, I'm impressed. If you've been around here for any length of time at all, you know I am like married to my concealer. So not using a concealer and putting foundation underneath my eyes feels very weird to me. And we're losing light in here. Oh my gosh. I had planned to film about an hour ago, but then of course, like, my schedule got all weird. So the sun is like, I have this perfect like section of time about 3 to 4 hours before the sun goes down where I get really good light in my office. And then the rest of the time, the light in my office is not good at all. Okay, I have this on. I have a pretty thick layer of this on, I will say. It looks, and a ton left on my hand. It looks really dewy. It looks really pretty. It's actually fuller coverage than I thought. It actually evened out my skin really well. Like, surprisingly well. Just going to grab a clean end of the sponge and go over it, just to make sure that everything is nice and pounced in, not too heavy. There's nothing sitting on top of my skin. I really like my foundation to blend in. Okay, that actually looks really, really good. I'm going to get a bit closer. I don't know if you guys can see or not with the light, but that looks really, really nice. It blended into my skin beautifully. I'm going to kind of let that set into my skin for a minute, and we're going to move on to the eyes. Pop out any creasing there real quick. And today I'm using the ColourPop Soul Palette. I think when it comes to drugstore eyeshadow, ColourPop is probably one of my favorites. You can also consider Morphe drugstore. I'm not sure. Do you guys consider Morphe and ColourPop drugstore? To me, they are, because they're on the drugstore side of Ulta and they're lower priced. They're usually $30 to $35 or under for a palette, so I consider that drugstore. But if you want something that is like super traditional drugstore, I really love the L'Oreal La Palette Nude. If you're looking for a good neutral drugstore palette, this is probably one of the best I've found that's like traditional drugstore brands. But as far as like NYX, ColourPop, Morphe, I would say that ColourPop and Morphe probably are my favorites for eyeshadow due to the pigmentation and the blendability. And I do tend to prefer ColourPop and Morphe over NYX's shadows, which is surprising because, like, I love NYX. Hold on, Kitty wants out again. Well, if you would just ask to be let out before I start filming, this would be easier, you know. She always waits until I'm like 10 minutes into a video and then wants let out. Okay, anyway, today I'm using the Soul Palette because it has some really pretty peaches in here. We're just going with some more softer, subtle colors. So I'm taking the Morphe M330 and I'm just going into this one up here. It's the lightest one. I'm just going to blend that in my crease. This is just going to be a very basic, soft daily look that you can probably do in under 10 minutes if you're not like trying to film it and talk to a camera and make sure that everything is like visible on screen. And now I'm taking the Morphe M506 and going into the slightly darker peach shade. I'm just taking that on the outer corner and into the crease and along the lash line, just to give my eye just a little bit more definition. I wish I had like a paler tone in here. I'm actually going into this palette, the L'Oreal Lip Palette Nude, and grabbing the white shade out of here. It's a slightly shimmery white. There's actually two shimmeries in here. This one's more of a champagne and this is closer to a bone color. And just popping that on the inner portion of my eye, just because I can still slightly see the veins in my eye and the foundation didn't cover them up completely. Next, I'm taking the e.l.f. No Bud Shadow Stick. This is in the shade Perfect Pearl. This is probably one of my new favorite discoveries. I'm popping this right underneath my eyebrows and in that inner corner, and just softening it out with my fingertip. If you want your eyes to sparkle a little bit more, you can add some right under the center. It's totally optional. And then this is also perfect for a highlight. So I will just pop a line right on my cheekbones, nose, and right there. Of course, do this wherever you like to highlight. Now, depending on your skin tone, this may be too light for a highlight for you, but if you're pale like I am, pretty much anything in a light to medium tone, this should work out pretty well for you, and it's good for a multi-use product, and I love multi-use products. I'm going to curl my lashes really quick. I'm actually going to do my eyebrows soon, don't worry, I know they look crazy. But I know for a fact that I don't love the eyebrow product I have, so I'm kind of holding off on that just because I'm worried about how they're going to turn out. They may be a disaster, we shall see. Curl, now I'm going back into the Soul palette, and I am just grabbing a little tiny Morphe brush. This is the M508, and I'm going into this pretty chocolate brown color down here, and just putting it along my lash line. If you have a brown liner that you like from the drugstore, that is perfect. Unfortunately, the only brown liner I have right now is Urban Decay, so we're not using her today. But I'm just doing a really soft line, and then I'm just following it along that natural lash line, just a tiny, tiny bit outside of my natural lash line. It just helps make your eyes look just a tiny bit bigger. And now we get to play with this mascara. I'm so excited. Like, this is probably the most excited I've been about mascara in a while. And yes, it's all because of the name. Honestly, had they named this something different, I probably wouldn't have bought it. I literally brought this home, showed it to my husband, and I was like, I had to buy this just because of the name. And he said, I completely understand. Ooh, I had to rip the packaging, you guys. I don't like packaging lately. For some reason, you have to like rip everything to get into it. It's frustrating. Here's the mascara, Big Poppa, and the tagline for it, bigger is better. Okay, so it's got big, big handle. And here's the brush. It's really nice, actually. It's a standard bristle brush, very much like the Too Faced one, except it looks a little bit thinner this way. It's not quite as chunky, which is actually good because the Too Faced brush is actually a little bit too chunky. So let's see. Can't tell what the formula is like. I'm going to smear mascara all over my hand. It actually feels fairly dry. Okay. Let's see. Ooh, okay, this goes on really nicely. The brush is very comfortable. It's not pokey or stabby, and I can get right into the base of my lashes really easily. Okay, I'm not seeing any clumping. I'm not seeing anything funky. They look at that. This is like a $5 mascara. Please, 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 I need you to listen to me right now. Please, do not flake onto my cheeks. If you can avoid flaking onto my cheeks, we could have a very long, healthy relationship, okay? This is so pretty, you guys. It doesn't look like it's making the curl drop much either, which is incredible. Here's the real test if it will fight and get mascara all over my chunky eyelid. Okay, it's trying to clump a bit at the end of my eyelash there. Ooh, okay, but we got it off. Okay, not bad. You guys, that is so pretty. And it only transferred a tiny bit on my fat eyelid. If you've been around, you know about my fat eyelid and how much it loves mascara. Let me get up close again. Look how pretty my lashes look. $5 mascara. My lashes look like that. That is incredible. You guys know I like really soft, delicate, natural mascaras that don't clump my lashes. That's my biggest thing, is don't clump up my lashes. It's so pretty. Oh, so pretty. Okay, yay. I'm very happy. So I will see how this wears. If it flakes, I will let you guys know down in the comments or down in the description box whether this flakes or not, because I will probably wear this until like 10 o'clock tonight. But so far, I really like this, and it dries fairly quick. Yes, excellent. Okay, because like there was another mascara I tried that I loved, but it took like 20 minutes to dry. It drove me crazy. Okay, let's move on to eyebrows. For these, I'm using the NYX Fill and Fluff in Taupe. This is probably one of the best drugstore eyebrow products I've ever tried, and that's not saying much because I really don't love this that much. NYX is amazing on other things. For some reason, their brow products tend to fall flat for me. Let me grab a brush to brush out my eyebrows first. I'm just so picky on eyebrow products because I really have to do a lot of work with them. This brow product is very like, it's a pencil, but it's like thick and waxy. So it's supposed to hold your brows in place, which is great, but it's also supposed to be taupe. And I am using a very, very light hand here. And, okay, look how dark my brow looks. Yeah. So you have to use this, and then you're supposed to use, it has a little brush like those one makeup brushes that were popular for a while. It's nice in concept, but it tends to just kind of smear it around and make a big giant mess. But my problem with this stuff is it's so waxy, which again in concept is good, especially if you have thick brow hairs. But if you don't, and the color is just, it's not taupe at all. So I'm actually using my e.l.f. eyebrow brush to blend this out to kind of try and make this less disastrous. But like taupe and dark brown are two totally different shades, and this is dark brown. This is not taupe. So if you work with it, you can get it to fade out, but I have to be really careful because I have to avoid the area where I have thinner brow hair, and even when you work it out quite a bit, the color is still pretty dark. So yeah, if you guys have really light, soft brow hairs with missing hair in places, and you have lighter brows or lighter hair, and you found a drugstore product that you love that does not make your brows look orange, because I have no bigger hatred in life than my eyebrows looking orange, please, please, please let me know, because I would love to find a drugstore brow product that could stand up to Benefit or Anastasia, and I haven't found it yet. In fact, at this point, I'm afraid to try and waste the money. But if you guys have anything you've used that you've loved, please let me know. All right, there we go. That's as good as the brows are gonna get, unfortunately. They do not look super, super natural, which does bug me. I wish they were softer, but the only way I can do that is if I pulled out a high-end product. So speaking of products we're kind of making do with, next we have blush. The only drugstore blush I have left is this. This is the e.l.f. All-in-One Face Stick. I think that's what it's called, in Glistening Peach. It's supposed to be for like eyes, lips, cheeks. This is crazy glittery. It is super, super glittery. So it is a really pretty peachy color, but it's like metallic. So I'm patting this on, but instead of putting it like down here where I typically wear my blush, I'm kind of bringing it up onto my temples. That way the glitteriness kind of blends in a little bit and isn't quite as obvious. Just working that so it's nice and even. I mean, it looks really pretty. The color is gorgeous. If they made one of these that didn't have glitter in it, I'd be all over it. And that's what I'm thinking their putty blushes are. All right, you guys, we are almost done. We just need to finish up the lips. I'm keeping it super simple. I'm using the ColourPop Ultra Glossy Lip, and this is in the shade PS. This is probably one of my favorite lip glosses ever because I'm kind of picky on glosses. I don't have a lot, but this one is just that perfect peach tone. And it doesn't like act weird. The pigment doesn't go into the lines of your lips. It just wears perfectly. I also really like, if you don't have access to a ColourPop near you, I also really like Wet n Wild Color Icon lip glosses. These are also very, very nice glosses. All right, you guys, and that is it. Here's the final look. It's very soft, it's very natural, it's very neutral. This would be great for the office, for running errands. If you just want to have a daily makeup routine that was drugstore priced, this would be perfect because it's very soft, very delicate, and it's got enough punch to it though that would look really good if you're doing like a Zoom meeting or something like that. I love looks like this that are very, very wearable, and I think this one's really, really pretty. And of course, if you're not big into peach shadow, you can always go full neutral on the shadows as well if you don't love peach, but I find that it works really well with my skin tone, so it's kind of what I tend to go for when I'm doing more of a natural look. So anyway, this Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator, now that I've worn it for a little bit, actually looks really good on my skin. I used quite a bit of it and I got a nice medium coverage. You could definitely use a smaller amount than I did though and sheer it out to just wear it like a BB cream, like really, really lightly. And I even think it worked really well under my eyes, which is actually surprising. Like there was a tiny bit of creasing that I patted out, but hardly anything, and it covered up my dark circles surprisingly well. So I'm impressed because I'm very picky about how my under eye area looks, and I like that so far. And of course, the mascara, my eyelashes look amazing, and I would honestly buy this just for the $5 just to have this on my makeup desk because it says Big Poppa on it. But the good news is the product itself is also really, really nice, and I don't see any smearing on my upper eyelid. I don't see any flaking. and my lashes feel very soft. They don't feel like crunchy or hard at all. They just feel very soft, very nice. I'm not getting any mascara on them when I do this, either flaky or transferring at all, so that's really good. So, big fan of these two products so far. We'll see how they wear over time. I will let you guys know if I love them. Of course, they will end up in one of my favorites videos, which I do every single month. I think I skipped December because like December was rough, but I typically do my favorites videos every single month. So if you want to know how these wear long term, go ahead and make sure to subscribe to my channel so you can keep up with all my new videos. I post every Wednesday and Sunday. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and you can also keep up with me on Twitter and Instagram. The links for those are down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what your very favorite drugstore product is down below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.